Hello, good evening. Let's just see if there are more people just joining the live. Hello, Alana. Hello, Cristiano. Cristiano, eu tenho uma página em português. Eu sou brasileiro também, eu tenho uma página em português que eu faço lives em português, mas essa aqui eu faço em inglês. Então, if you speak in English, it would be great for you to follow the live here. But if not, only just to keep all the everything in English, you can access Maya the Keeper BR on my Instagram. And that is the live that I'll be doing here today. I did yesterday. So I hope you're here to enjoy. I'm doing great, Alana. Thank you for asking. Yes, this last Trecena was a bit hectic, but was good though. Nothing to complain. And I hope you're having a good time following the Trecenas. Today, as we already have like 3 people, we can start. Today we are completing 20 Trecena analysis. We are just coming back from where I started just doing this live this Trecena analysis. I started not doing the live ones. Good evening, Ricardo Toteca. I think I got your name correct now, right? Good to see you joining me to one more live. And so I have already this Trecena analysis recorded, and you can all go back. I used to do all the editings for this Trecena live. I will continue doing lives even though I already have all of those analyses on my YouTube, because it's always good to keep refreshing them. And also I'm gonna be expanding the format of my contents here to keep my channels a little bit more busy. And because I know all of you have been asking me to post daily, the daily Chorkir. So I'm gonna be attending all the requests and keep doing this live analysis where I'm gonna be doing more explanations. So if you are not watching this live, I'm just gonna be asking you for you to subscribe to my channel and to leave a like button if you're just enjoying the content. Hello, my friend Nathan. Good to see you here again. And so today we're gonna be analyzing the Tz'i Trecena. And before I start, if you'd like to ask something while you're waiting to see if more people are gonna join the live, because I usually start in a rush. I start talking because I never know how many people are going to join that. And I never wanted the link for them to watch later to be too long. That's why sometimes I try to speed up. But I'm gonna take my time. If you'd like to chat a little bit before we start, or you could let me know like how was your experience during this past Trecena of the Oshlahu Naor, the 13 Thoughts Trecena. We can chat a little bit before we actually start and by the way, lads, if you'd like to follow my graphics where I usually share my Trecenas, you can go to mayathekeeper.me/calculator. If you just put the day of tomorrow, you can already see the scheme of the Trecena we are going to be analyzing. So you have like all the snake skin that I usually put on my covers. Just remember it's mayathekeeper.me. Let me see if I can write down in here. I don't know. I don't know why I can never write here from using my phone. Yeah, I don't know why I cannot type anything. But it's mayathekeeper.me. So in the past Trecena, we were talking about our past analysis. We were talking about the. Yeah, sure. I will be doing like this quick summary of the Trecena and explain more about the number 13, because what do we need to take into account every time we think about the trecenas? We cannot isolate any novel. They are all part of a system. So every time we talk about a trecena, we are talking about a bigger entity. Like for example, we're gonna be starting with Tijax, one cut in this trecena. So most of the information you can find around that, they're gonna be naming the trecenas, by the number 1, which is not correct. You can name the trecena by any number because they are all part of the same system. But remember that time is not linear according to the Maya. There is always something that is pushing things forward at the end. So we see the accumulation in the number 13. So the number 13 will likely explain like the most powerful presence of the Trecena, where everything is going to accumulate. So a second after the number 1 starts, already giving maybe the theme, like the first theme, it already starts being driven by the number 13. So the number 13 is what governs all of the other novels. So that's why here in my lineage, we usually tend to call the Trecenas by the number 13, which is the accumulation. So the number 13 is going to be always a reflection of what is going to be the biggest, like the oldest, like the ocean. Remember that the numeral novels, they are always explained by metaphors of the water. From 1 being the spring and the 13 being the big accumulation of water, like the sea. We can also use other things to explain, but I'm not going to be entering too much details. So the 13 is going to be the accumulation of everything, what's going to be growing, like what is the entity that is pushing things forward to accumulate that. Let me just read the messages here. The president helped me release. Oh yeah, nothing related to that. Yeah. So the 13 is going to be like this biggest entity that's going to be pushing the time forward. So in the past Trecena, we spoke about the 13 Naor, and we started with Hun Kan, one snake, one stellar serpent, which was talking about something new to intervene, or a new announcement, what we could call in Kan. Because Kan is the sound of the thunder that announced changes in nature. So it was something that was accumulating in a decision to make our plan to change. So even though Kan was talking about something that could be constantly changing the plan, or maybe acknowledging, or maybe using your streetwise stuff, was always going to accumulate to the 13, to this big plan, to this big idea, this new will to organize stuff, like this new drive to make a big organization. Because the more you are organized, the more you could see the interconnections we were talking about in the past Trecena. Was more like this rational Trecena, where you could see like where everything connects, like how the plan is gonna work, so it becomes easier for you to go there and do an intervention. So you are not left, without knowing what to do. So the better you have the things structured, the easier it becomes to make a change along the way. So it was more about to make this big organization, because if you don't do this big organization, if you just take by, I just have to intervene, there will be a time where you're gonna be caught, off guard, so you won't have the resources. So you need to have like a solid plan to know how to intervene, how to put your life back to order. So it is all about putting everything in place to make it easy to connect the dots. So in the past Trecena, we spoke about this big plan, or having to change, to intervene, or to make intense interconnections after you accumulate ideas. You know where, like they are all connected. For example, now we can connect for, give an example of a library where you have all the titles organized, so it becomes easier for you to know what's each section. So that's the main purpose of the now is to organizing, synthesizing stuff to become easier for you to know where our things are placed. But of course, we always talk that everything is a condition. It's not necessary that it's going to be having to intervene into things, that are going to be having to do the organization. Maybe you already have. So maybe Oshilahu 13 thoughts will be just like the accumulation of thoughts, or maybe you're just obsessed about some stuff. For example, this knowledge is kind of a little bit obsessive because you're always looking for information that the only thing you're going to be finding online is Western interpretations or nothing really indigenous oriented about this knowledge. That is going to be just keeping repeating, process of, westernizing this stuff. So you become addicted to that. And so whenever we're gonna look at that, we gotta look at the entire system and how, like, all the conditions gonna take to the accumulation. So if everything in the past Trecena started as a new poison, something like that, you got poison from the previous Trecena, or maybe a new fear because you got stressed, the accumulation of now all tends to go for inflammation from that, for making making worse what you're experiencing. So it's going to be like the obsession that's going to be accumulating. And in this Trecena, we're going to be talking about the accumulation of emotions. It's the Tz'i, the 13th dog Trecena. That we're going to be starting with the cut. For example, if you're just accumulating thoughts that is not taking anywhere, now we can start and cut, those threads that they were left over there, they were connecting anywhere. So we can start with this new cut. Or if it was the accumulation of inflammation, maybe you can start now with the spring of healing. If the past Trecena, we were talking about these very masculine oriented entities, just like Kan, Bats, Naor. This one is going to be more feminine because we're going to be talking about Tijax and Tz'i. And if the previous one was more about your structure, to see how you're going to put your plans in action, to see if they really fit, it's going to be if the plan's really solid. This one is going to be putting like the weight in the emotional side. So now it's time just to release everything that was kind of repressed in the past Trecena. As I don't remember if you remember, I told you that the dramas of the past Trecena would be the emotions, because you kind of need to do kind of a concrete plan, and sometimes it's kind of hard to weigh the emotions. So, and now that's what you're going to be seeing growing in this Trecena, and just taking in accumulating and ruling in this case. So we're going to be starting with the one cut, which could be the spring of healing, or the new cuts to be made. So if the previous Trecena was the one that you were more dedicated to build a plan, so now you can use the Tijax as an editor. So you can edit what worked and what didn't work. So you can start just doing these actions. But if you felt like the previous Trecena just let you obsessed, you kind of got stuck, organized, or overwhelmed by all the logical stuff, now you can use Tijax to start this process of healing. Just paying attention that emotions are going to be accumulating from that. Because sometimes, the plans that we build doesn't always work in the way that we want it. That's why in the previous Trecena was about not just to organize the plan, but also to put things into action to see if they really work. And sometimes when they don't work, sometimes it's kind of hard for us to see what's not working there. It can lead us to feel overwhelmed, emotions start to arise. And if we do not pay attention to that, they can corrupt us. They can take the worst of us. And also, one thing that we need to take into account is if the emotions we are getting at the end of the plan, after we execute the plan, is the things that we are expecting getting from that. Because sometimes in life we just want to build a plan, sometimes we just have an idea that drops into our mind. And so that's good, and see that we do the interconnections, but sometimes it's just for a temporary necessity. For example, sometimes you need to do something else to make money, but it's not something that you love, but you're just doing that because you need to, because you have to, you need to survive. So you're not getting anything out of that. So you kind of, if you just keep that for a long time, you can make your spirit sick. You know, you're not meeting all of the stuff that how you're now wants to express in life. So in this Trecena is where we're gonna see if everything that we put in, we created the plan, we are just meeting the right emotions that we want at the end. For example, if you are just learning how to treat people or just to take care of people, just giving advices, if you don't feel like the satisfaction after your consultations, you know, maybe it could be something wrong in there. Maybe you're just applying yourself, just dedicating your energy for something that's not going to be sustainable long term. So that's why in this Trecena is going to be the accumulation of emotions that's really going to reveal if our efforts that we are putting onto this plan are really worth it, are really what we want it to be. So that's going to be, it's kind of tricky because emotions sometimes can trick us. Sometimes we can fall into blindness into that. Sometimes the idea sounds nicer, you know, than when you actually put into action, you try to execute that plan. So that could be the tricky thing, because sometimes we want everything to be perfect, all the emotions just to go according to like the way we think life needs to flow. So it's something that can be tricky in this Trecena. That's why, you know, sometimes emotions can be something that can fool us, you know, in that sense. And Tz'i, when we talk about Tz'i, we talk about more emotional confusion. Like when you have many emotions, you don't know exactly what you really feel. That is a mix of everything that makes you feel confused. Okay, maybe you have some moments of happiness or some moments of that, but later you don't feel like you are complete. And that's one of the things that can be tricky and can accumulate to the point that can extenuate yourself. Like you can see yourself becoming tired, you know, all of this. So if we don't make the right cuts, and if we don't do like the right discernments of what is happening, so that can grow and can corrupt us. That's why you're gonna be maybe seeing like the condition where Tz'i becomes the authority that bites, or like the corrupt judge is the one that's gonna be, you know, just trying to do things to meet their own interests. So we can talk about manipulation. Just like when we talk about the dog, like is our best friend, like the loyal one. But if you try to go and try to take the food you just gave it to him, you know, the insect is going to be confronted, and the dog can bite the owner. So, and then later the dog is going to be feeling confused because he was just trying to protect their instincts. So that can be tricky with the dog. Sometimes it can be the one that bites the owner because he don't know what he's doing, then feels confused later. And that is one of the phases that we can analyze in our Tz'i. Of course, the dog stuff is more contemporary in the Maya. Of course, in the previous times there weren't dogs in there, so Tz'i was more connected to marsupials, just like the rats and raccoons. There are some metaphors that we can use for wolves as well, but we're gonna be using this analysis more to talk about these aspects connecting the dog, being like the one that can be sensible, easily to manipulate, and just like emotions, like you can never really, you know what's for sure what's really going on, or they change too much, like too fast. And So that's where we're going to be seeing what everything that we did in the past Trecena, if is related to what you want to feel, what you want to experience during our life in here. So we start with who. Is everything clear right now before I start with the analysis? If not, if there was everything. Oh, I got insights and unique relation in a few days. Knife discernment is the editor. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the knife is the discernment. Tijax means cut and separate. Like Tz'i is like to bite and separate. That's why we talk about this. Of course, Tijax is also associated with the obsidian blade. Like it was the instrument that was used for the arrowheads for you to hunt or to protect the territory. And the same way was used for it's like the surgeon's blade for extirpation. And so it was the same instrument that was used to kill and to hunt, was used to heal as well. And we can also use to relate it to the black mirror, because the one that you need to go really close to, or to see you only reflects what's really close to you, is a metaphor to say like that's gonna tell you the truth, maybe the hurting truth, that we can take into account. Also analyzing Tijax as a mirror, like it's the one that you're gonna be confronting yourself, like the truth that sometimes you don't want to accept. That's why Tijax can be this very fragile novel, just like the obsidian is. It's a very fragile material. And so the Hun Tijax, we're going to be talking about these new cuts to be made, or this spring of healing. If the past Trecena was like too stressing with this logical stuff, full of boring stuff to do, and sometimes makes you heavy-headed or full of ideas that don't connect. So Hun Tijax is the day to cut everything off, just give a break to your mind, just go to start this Trecena with a self-healing. Just put yourself into activities where you can, unwind a little bit. You can just worry a little bit about how you're feeling with everything. So it's a good day for you to take to do this self-care, to take care of your emotions. For you to do not start this Trecena like in a heavy way. Otherwise, Hun Tijax will indicate that can be a new wound starting. It can be like if you just ignore, just try to go to the logical side of Nawar, ignoring the emotions. Hun Tijax can be only the pieces of glass that can be hurting you later on. Maybe you're not feeling everything, but later can be hurting even more. So it can be something that you accumulate in this pain, that emotions that can cause sometimes inflamming even more, like was inflamming in Oshlahu Naor. So it's gonna be about for you to ask like what do you need to cut for you to follow this path. So this Trecena is going to be more about like a Trecena of restoration, for you to see like if everything is in place, like walking according to the plan, but also you need to be with your feet on the floor. You need to be balanced, not letting the emotions taking the control of you and ruin everything. That's why the previous Trecena was important, for us to make a plan and know like where we can move, what kind of things we can change, where we can intervene. So in this one, it becomes easier to make these adaptations, to get used to maybe a new routine if you had to change something in the previous one. So it's always a condition that leads to another condition. So there is nothing that is going to be, oh, this is just the day to cut. It all depends how you are arriving to the now, how you are arriving to today's now, how, because today's now is always going to be taking what the previous one left for you. So Hun Tijax is going to be the day to do this first healing, this spring of healing. And then we're gonna move to Cape Kawuk, to sheet lightning. So two sheet lightning is gonna be the calculating the light or retracting into the deep intuition. It's gonna be the time where you can take one step back to see what went wrong in the past Trecena. It could be just taking one step back to calculate, to see the road you gotta walk ahead through this next 13 days in this Trecena, and see what your intuition tells you. Sometimes, if you didn't follow a plan, or if you just overcome everything, you just see yourself stuck in the same stuff, your life is not moving. Maybe you're just ignoring that. You just try to live freestyle, and that's not gonna be sustainable. That's why the previous Trecena was really important. So two sheet lightning is gonna be the day where you can retract to see like how you can recover, how you can see the light of where you wanna get, or the light of the end of all your efforts, like what you intend to get beyond the efforts you put to make your plan work, to do your stuff, to make your projects keep going. So that's something that we need to take into consideration. So two sheet lightning is going to be calculating where is the light. So where is the light where that's going to lead to the emotion you want to feel when you execute that plan. So it's going to be the time where you can calculate. But also, if you don't do anything, you can be just going blind once again with your emotions. And you can also be entering into trouble again. Because Kawuk can have the sense of just trying to see things translucent, just try to put things, everything needs to be crystal clear in Kawuk. If you did not free your mind in Hun Tijax, did not cut the extra thoughts that you got in the previous Trecena, or maybe the obsession, you're not going to be able to see everything transparent. So if you still feeling like heavy-headed, two Kawukis could be another day where you can just try to free your mind. If you like doing meditations, if you feel like comfortable doing that, it can be a good way to do that, just to release and try to leave your head like as light as possible, to become easier for you to see the light, to know what to do, what direction to take in this Trecena. So it's gonna be the day where you can just unwind to see what your intuition, to see if you can connect with this deep intuition of the earth, with the Ushlabi shell of the earth. So two sheet lightning is gonna be a day to take one step back and only to calculate, for you to feel where everything is going to connect. Or also it could be a day where you can see what kind of words could be repressed. Because in this Trecena where we're going to be talking about emotions, maybe we repressed too much in the previous Trecena, we weren't able to express ourselves. And Tijax also talks about communication as the words that heal and words that hurt, is how we use. Tz'i can be also connected to the word itself, just like when you have the laws, like the judge that makes the rules or the laws, but could be creating only to fit their own needs, like their own necessities. That's why it can be something that can be corrupted. They're not gonna be like the same for everybody. So Cape Tijax can be also a good day for you to see, you can really try to see what you want to communicate, to see clearer like what you want to express to the world. That could be something that you can take into account in Cape Tijax, in Cape Kawuk. And then moving from Cape Kawuk to sheet lightning, we go to Oshib Hunahpu, 3 Conqueror Sun. The now 3 is a now of the water opening the path, and Hunahpu is going to be the now of the glow. So 3 Hunahpu is going to be opening the path for the glow, opening the path for the bright. If we calculated the light we're going to get, now is time to open the path for this brightness to start lighting up everything. It's a time to overcome the battle of the darkness you face within, maybe your insecurities. So insecurities, all this emotional confusion is all what's going to be accumulating in this Trecena if we don't treat. So it's going to be a continuous time of seeing emotions arriving and cutting them to try to keep that under control. And Oshiba Hunarpu is going to be the time if you do the right retraction, if you do like if you did like a proper healing, then you're going to be seeing yourself with so much energy to open the path to go forward in this first forward step in the Trecena. So it's going to be the time where you can do the stuff that you're going to do. Maybe you found the courage to overcome darkness. It's gonna be the time where you can find everything that you need, to take the energy to overcome maybe an insecurity. Maybe you are able to overcome your insecurities in Oshiba Hunarpu. It's a really powerful day to take things forward. And also could be if we do not have the right courage, or like the courage that we needed, Hunarpu will not be able to successfully attempt to overcome the obstacles. So you're gonna see yourself like just in the emotions, especially for people who are more retracted, who take more time to accumulate energy to go forward. Sometimes you might find a harder time just having to deal with Oshiba Hunarpu, which are more forward nowos. Of course, everybody needs to face their own rhythm, but sometimes if you don't take chances, like if you don't create courage to go forward, you can be trapped into the darkness. And that's what you want to avoid in Oshiba Hunarpu, to avoid being stuck with our insecurities and not being able to go forward in our path. As I said, there are some people who are more natural to go forward, but some people who are more retracted need more time to take some stuff. If you are just trying to just calculate too much, you're not gonna take the risk to go forward. You can be trapped by darkness in Oshiba Hunarpu. And then from Oshiba Hunarpu we go to Kahib Imosh for water. Now 4 is the now of after the water that opens the path. It's gonna be the water that gets stagnant, or the water that seems to stop but can be growing slowly. Could be something just like a dam that seems to be, in balance over there. It seems to apparently has no movement, but it's just slowly getting in strength, just like the water in the well. And Imosh, we talk about the now of the water, is the injection of force, is the vital energy that can keep life, that can give power into something, just like the water can empower the seed to make it grow. So Imosh is the now of the growth, is the now of the flow, and also the now that we can connect to the collective consciousness, where we can draw inspirations, like to inject force to our creativity. So Imosh is a very powerful now, but is a powerful now in which we won't have too much control. So it's just like doing things with the hand that you have less precision, because it's too much force but very little precision. So it's a day where you need to be very aware with the stuff that you get involved, with the things you are watching, with the things you are reading. You can very easily misunderstand stuff. Imosh can be the now that can give you the false impression that you're just going the right way, but it can only show that you're just becoming crazy. Because here in the calendar, we need to, of course, in our life, we need to measure stuff by results. And it's not just about philosophizing stuff that won't take us anywhere or not gonna serve for everything. So we need to take care of that. We need to see, improvements in stuff. We need to only consider the facts in here. And Imosh, it can be the now that can make this a little bit harder, because it's the now that can cause confusion. It can be the now that can give you the sense of the false emotion that everything is just doing fine, but in reality you're just getting confused. In reality you're just picking up some other stuff, some ideas that could not be yours, That's why you need to be a little bit careful with Imosh. So Kahib Imosh is going to be the day to try to stabilize the flow. It can be this growing injection of force that you need to be careful. Is to try to manage, the force. Don't try to do heavy stuff on Imosh. Try to take it easy. Don't let this injection of force, be like be too much like a force that you cannot handle. So it's a day for you to be careful. Just try to do everything in a balanced way, as Noel 4 will ask. And before you cannot handle the control of Imosh, this pressure of the water can bring. And then from Kahib Imosh, we go to Hob Yek 5 Wind. If we did a good job at controlling Hob Imosh, so then Hob Yek can be the day of the overflow of passion. If you are able to manage all of this control of the flow and able to control the emotions we are feeling, maybe we find a balanced way just to follow our passion, like the passion that moves us forward, just like the enthusiasm of now Yek, the wind. Now Yek is the now of the insufflation of life, the now that gives us life, like it's the fuel of our lungs with air, and that makes us just feel inspired just to move forward. Is a now that can helps us just give a little, like, push things forward, just like when you are walking in the same direction of the wind. It helps you walk a little bit faster. So it can be that gentle push. But now Yek is another now that is really hard to control. It can be just like a balloon that can explode any moment, or just like a child that can throw temper tantrums when things are not going to their ways. So it's a now that can be likes entering a little bit into fantasy, into the fantasy world, because it gets you excited, just like a kid doesn't see the problems. And if you just go there and try to go against the plan or see, you can see that the child just throwing the temper tantrum, and that's what can make Yek explode. So that's why it's really important what happens into the previous now, how Imosh is going to behave, how you're going to be able to handle Imosh. Because Imosh can feel within the injection of force of something crazy, or something like that only works for you. Can be all that really bright inside, but it's only you that can see the brightness of that inside. Or you cannot do anything practical with that. So Yi can be the one that's just gonna be, inflating with that illusion. So it's really important that we need to take into consideration the power of the passion that we gotta do, but also to make sure we are walking with our feet on the floor, to make sure we are able to control all of this pressure of the wind. So Yik can be a good day for you to give like work 150% more if you are feeling the zone, if you feel that everything is working over there, if you're feeling inspired. Use that in order to do something practical with that. And could be a great day for also for you to spend with others, to give like a little push for other people as well, to be their wind that are going to be helping. One thing that I forgot mentioning in this Trecena in Tz'i, as we started with the healing and we're going to be accumulating emotions, Tz'i being the now of the loyalty, we can also be the one that you can find the healing through the connection, through our friendship connections, the connection of our loved ones. Is the ones that we can talk with, or in the moments where things can be a little bit hard to control or to contain. So Yek can be also a great day for you to dedicate, this passion that you got, for your loyal ones. For example, you can do something nice, then you can express that. This can be also the Trecena where you can feed the friendship you have. You can show your dedication for your friends, you can show appreciation for them. Because that's something that can brings us healing. the bounds we're creating in this life. But also we need to be careful with yik. If yik explodes, can be what can elevate the emotions in the Trecena. It can be where you can see things just going out of control and a possible corruption arising into that. Remembering that Tz'i in the Tz'i accounting is the last now, can be also the chaos before Bats put things into order again. So when we talk about chaos in our Tz'i, we talk about this chaos in the body, this chaos in emotion. When you just explode emotionally, you don't know what to do, like you really change, just like when the dog doesn't know what to do and bites the owner. So it needs to be something that now yik could be the responsible of taking. So it's a day to be careful, just act if there is something that you are really directed to do in Hob Yik. And then moving from Hob Yik 5 wind, we go to Wakib Akabal 6 clarity. Now 6 is going to be the heart of the Trecena, where we're going to be doing our ponderations. And now Akabal is going to be the now of the clarity. It can be talking about the first rays of the sun that starts illuminating what is in the dark. In a way we can talk about as the revelation. So we're going to be pondering what kind of revelations are we getting. We need to ponder what stays in the dark and what we bring to the light. Because it's not everything that we need to be bringing to the light. We need to speak up. There are some things we need to gestate a little bit more before we speak up them. Just like if you're just building a project, for example, in the previous Trecena, sometimes you need to hold your emotions, your excitement to tell the world if that's not completely done yet. Maybe you're just going to be giving your secrets for someone to steal. So you need to be careful with that. So now Akabal, we're going to be talking about this moment of the Trecena where you need to ponder what's going to be staying in the dark and what's going to be showing to the light. Akabal talks about like the power of the hidden information. Like Akabal can be the side of this Trecena that can lead things into the manipulative side. Like when you get frustrated about something or you're just selfish, it's your nature, you just want to manipulate people or just create your own stuff. Akabal can be the one responsible for corrupting stuff in this Trecena. Because Akabal loves power. Akabal loves, being like behind, having the control without being seen. And Tz'i could be like the perfect target, for Akabal to control. Just like a dog that can be trained, that can be used to attend your needs. So Akabal is going to be showing this hidden side of what's going to be going on over there. So maybe if you're accumulating, these emotions of frustration, that could be adding to this aspect of stuff that is going to be having you to lead to more dark actions or darker decisions. So it's one of the most important days of this Trecena, because it could be where all the dramas are going to live in here. Because it's going to be talking, if the previous Trecena spoke about the plan, Akabal wants to show things to the world, but wants perfection. Sometimes a perfection that you cannot deliver, and that can F up your emotions. So you need to, it's a hard now to please. So it could be a good day for you to hold up a little bit, maybe the stuff you want to express for a person. It could be a day where you could just stay a little bit to see if you are not wrong, maybe if you're just emotional about stuff. So it's good to hold things up, not taking any decisions in Wakib Akabal. It's just a day to ponder where things are going, what you're going to bring into the light and what is going to be staying in darkness. Maybe you're just too emotional, so it's better to contain to darkness, while you can just stay a little bit more, bring more clarity over those emotions, for not exploding, not like overreacting to some situations. So that's gonna be this aspects of the dramas of this Trecena that you need to pay attention. And moving from Wakib Akabal 6 clarity, we're gonna go to Ukub Kat 7 burning into ashes, 7 efforts. Now 7, we're gonna be talking about the climax of this Trecena. We're gonna be talking about like at least this middle point in here where we can already see where things are heading to, what's probably gonna be accumulating in the now 13. So you're gonna see like where all your energy you are putting into making that plan work from the previous Trecena, all the energy you spend to help the ones you love, the ones you trust, all the energy you dedicate to your projects to sustain them. So if they are really worth it, or if they are just trapping you into something, because all we want is just to be rewarded, just to have this flow or helping others, make our stuff, our energy worth it to the things we are dedicating ourselves. And cut as being like the fire burning low, that it already consumed all the brackets, all the coal. So it's just sustaining, just like in that maybe you can get extenuated. It's just like when you offer too much of your energy for something that's you're not having everything in return. So it's gonna be like the real sacrifices of your efforts to make work. So that could be something that is gonna be like giving also the rewards that are gonna be fitting you're getting from the previous Trecena. So it's gonna be the final efforts to see if the sacrifices that you do are really worth it. And if not, you are still in time to cut these things, just to cut the sacrifices that you are doing that are not moving your life forward, not moving into the direction you want it to be. So, but it also talks about the necessary tasks that, of course, they can be tiring, they can be extenuating you, but they are necessary for you to succeed. And so after doing the ponderation in Akabal, 7 cut is kind of what's gonna tell you where the stuff in this just not really likely to go. If it's necessary for you to cut the things from use Tijax to cut you off from these traps that it could be involving. It could be maybe an unloyal friend, maybe you're just realizing someone's just manipulating you or just acting as the traitor. So it could be a time to cut, to get yourself off of these situations. And then from Ukub Kat 7 burning into ashes, we go to Washakib Khan. And here is where the Trecena returns. We go to the second time as we are just looping there. It's just like just facing this path that we walked once again. So you're already going to be recognizing the patterns of this Trecena. So what's going to be about? What kind of stuff you're going to be having to lead? Like what are the conditions that are taking you to that certain situation? So if we follow the Trecena, everything we cut, we took care of ourselves, just offering some self-healing. We are able to walk this Trecena very lightly. We are seeing our efforts being worth it at the end. You feel like you are walking we are in the right track. Washakib Khan can be the return of the wisdom, can be the return like when you realize that you really found a way, or the return of the intervention necessary, where you can see that the intervention that you did in the previous Trecena was worth it to put in the path you are walking right now. Or if it's necessary to do an intervention now, 20 days after the last time Khan appeared, you're gonna be knowing better where to intervene. You're gonna be knowing like what kind of emotions you are leading with and what you can change, what you cannot change. Otherwise, if things are walking to the colder side of the Trecena, you just feel you're getting extenuated. 8 Khan, 8 Serpent can be the return of the poisoning, can be the return maybe of the enemy. Sometimes the enemy that's going to be betraying you, the enemy that could be walking by your side and you're not realizing. So Can be a day where you need to cut off the illusion in this Trecena. Cut off the stuff that could be poisoning you. And that's why this Trecena is really important, that we always take care of ourselves or our sanity, to make sure like we are not just falling for an illusion or something, because sometimes the illusion is going to be in this accumulation of emotions that we didn't treat or we didn't pay attention to. And so Washa Keep Calm is going to be the return that's going to be getting, you're going to be giving you that streetwise stuff for you to know how to handle stuff once again. Or if you're not paying attention, can be just the return of the illusion, the return of something poisoning. And then from Washa Keep Calm 8 Serpent, we go to Belaer Kame, 9 Death or 9 Ancestors. 9 is the now of what is hidden from sight, what is just staying in the dark, what is just running out cold, just like the underground rivers, or those rivers that we cannot see, that is running like a cold water. We talk about what is hidden from sight. And Kame is the now of the support that we get from the ancestors. If in the beginning of the Trecena we were talking about calculating the light we must follow, calculate retracting to listen to the deep intuition to know where to go. If we did a good job in the first part of the Trecena, maybe we know like how is our heart, what is our heart carrying. It could be the light that's gonna maybe we're gonna be seeing like the support from the light we got in the first part of the Trecena. But it could be like the inner suffering. Kame can talk about oppression in the heart, like when you are really suffering for something, like it's going to be like when you're just inflamming the emotions, you feel left out, you're just feeling used, you're just extenuated. So Kame can be that particular drama, or the hidden, the hidden dramas that the Trecena can bring. Maybe something that could be hurting you, but you don't know exactly what it is, but you feel that something is not good. It could be related to a person close to you. It could be related to a situation you weren't able to control, that is being like squeezing your heart. That's one of the things that Kame can talk about. But if we do all the right thing, we can find ourselves our inner support. Just like Tz'i can be the now of where we can talk about faith, we can talk about hope, which is something blind. And whenever we don't know the logics of this stuff, and maybe you need to rely to something in the dark. That's going to be faith. It can be something that you just made up. It can be something, whatever it is, that could have a special meaning to you. So it could be, the lights that you can find, that can make your faith grow into something. It could be the faith of you saving yourself from a situation, depends on the case. It could be the faith of wanting to make something work. But Kame is going to be talking about like this most sensitive stuff that could be hidden. It could be, like the gear that can increase or can make the emotions go out of control as well. If you're not being able, or if you're not getting the support you need it. It could be, like those times where you can rely on your inner talk to yourself, or your inner talk, like your private talk to the ancestors, something that's going to be making sense to you. You don't need to tell anyone. So it can be a good day to strengthen this connection with the ancestors as well. Because the better like you are, like the clearer you are from the inside, if you're just feeling supportive with yourself, the better it's going to be for you to handle these emotions that can accumulate. And then from 9 Kame, 9 Ancestors, we go to Lau Ker, 10 Deer. Now 10 is the now of the convergence, where everything meets into one single place, just like many rivers meeting to form a lake that's going to be also giving water to the animals that live around, to the people and the civilization that needs nearby, that needs water. So it's what you give and what you take. Just like the lake that receive the water from these rivers, but also give to the other animals. So it's two hands, is both ways. And now Alker is the now of the spiritual strength, is the now of the altar. So 10 there is the convergence of strength, maybe the convergence of spiritual strength, talking about that. So if we did a good job in Belaer Kame of strengthening this inner connection with the ancestors or getting the inner support that is necessary, now we are more likely to be able to converge more strength or more equilibrium at the end, not just like the physical equilibrium, but also, you know, a spiritual balance. So it's going to be where if you did a good connection in Kame, now you know where to take this strength from the ancestors to help you to move forward, to help you keep your emotions under control. Otherwise, Keh is always going to be just like a giant rock that doesn't move, or that is reluctant to move, or just to make an effort to go forward. So that's something that we need to avoid in our Oshib Keh. For example, in the beginning of the Trecena that we spoke about opening the path to overcome the insecurities, opening the path to make things glow. If we are trapped by our own insecurities, we are reluctant to try to take risks. So you're more likely that we're only going to be convergency, reluctancy in our care. It can be like the talk that you do with your ancestors, but you don't put everything into practice. If you don't test your inner strength, you're just going to be reluctant to move. So, and that's something that's now care needs to be like the power of the strength. If you may need some more strength, maybe you can talk to your friends, as now 10 is the now of the social activities that you can use. For example, asking help from a friend if you need a word of support, if you need a word that is going to give you some strength from their talk, from talking to them. Now 10 care is the one that you can use to do this, to get strength from other people, to get strength from the friendships you get. And that's something that can be very powerful with 10 deer. But also we can also talk about the connection with the altar, like the ceremonies that you can offer to the ancestors to make this communication, to make this negotiation in order to get strength, in order to get balance into yourself. And then from Laur Ker 10 deer, we're gonna move to Hulaur Knil 11 seed. Now 11 is the now of the spread. If 10 converts, now 11 diverts or spreads everything, is another now of divergence, just like now 3. So 11 is going to be the one that can or spread or dilute something. It could be the one that we can use to spread all of this spiritual strength that we converge in care. It can be the one that you can use that strength to produce more, to have more strength. Just like in the beginning of the Trecena, we passed through the now 4 water for the mosh. If we were able to dose that, like to control the flow, now we're gonna have maybe more precision to water the seed, to see, like, to don't let the seeds rotten, or just to let the seed go into intoxication, the plant go into intoxication. So it's dangerous now. It all depends on how you are carrying this stuff, how we are dosing our energy in this Trecena, how you are dosing the emotions you put into things. So 11 could be a very powerful day for you to dilute the intoxication, because as this Trecena can accumulate emotions, sometimes can accumulate our will of wanting like something to escape. Sometimes you find hard to deal with certain emotions that this Trecena can bring, and you're always gonna be finding something to escape from your responsibilities. It could be drinking, it could be, addiction to coffee, could be medicines to make your to enhance your performances. It could be everything. But if you do not dose that very well from the beginning of the Trecena, like how you're just going to control the water, maybe that water can now rotten the seed, or maybe that fertilizer that we can associate the water can be what's going to be intoxicating yourself, because what's going to be spreading that poison. So, and you want to avoid that, especially because we return this Trecena with Kan, and Kan can be, like the return of the poisoning. Because sometimes if you don't feel that something happens right away, we start just ignoring that. And this Trecena, as deals with emotions, sometimes it's kind of easy to just to find a real way, it's like out, or just go there and just light up a joint and forget about the world. And no surprise if you don't dose that correctly, to use for the right purposes. You just use that as an extension of your addiction and not as a medicine. You're just gonna be finding yourself just intoxicating and not moving, just being rotten. So you're not gonna be, you won't be able to act as the potential of making something to germinate, or the potential to make something to multiplicate. And also we need to also be sure, be aware on how, what areas are we dedicating our emotions as well, because they can also be these fertilizers for the things you are going to be producing. So it's really important that we pay attention in this Hula Hoop Canil. And from Hula Hoop Canil 11 seed, we go to Kabla Tor 12 fire. Now 12 is what comes as a hidden balance in this Trecena. In the first part of the Trecena, we spoke about the now 5, that could be the overflow of stuff, like what cannot be contained. So the 12 in the second part of the Trecena can be what's going to be compensating stuff at the end. So maybe if things, were leading to the destructive side, maybe we need to fall. We need like a hard fall to be able to wake up. So maybe you're gonna be the 12s, like the compensation that you're gonna do, to balance and stuff. So it can be like what is gonna be coming unexpectedly into this Trecena. And now Tor is the fire that is growing up, different from the now Kat, that is the fire going down. So it's the fire that needs a fuel, needs coal, needs wind to be able to grow. And also is what we're going to be talking about, the real payments. So 12 Tor is going to be the hidden payments of the Trecena, or the hidden sacrifices we do to achieve power. If Kat, we sacrifice ourselves to sustain something, or to give life to the other, now Tor is the sacrifices you do for you to obtain power, for you to get the stuff that you need. So 12 Tor can be like the now that you can find yourself just with some sickness, because you didn't pay attention on how you're taking care of your health. You didn't pay attention of these emotions, growing up. You could be frustrated. And now Tor is the now that can break certainty. Especially like when you are so sure about stuff, you are so sure, you just have like that really bright inside. Now Tor is the one that proves you wrong. No matter what, the now that can break all your certainty. Sometimes you discover something new that stuff will not make sense anymore. So it can be these unexpected, frustrations that can happen in this Trecena. And it's one of the nows that's really hard to negotiate with, just like Akabal. So Akabal is, wants to have things perfect, just wants to have the right reward. So Tor is gonna collect. It can collect even your health, for example. That's why it's now connected to sickness in the body, because now they can talk about injuries that you can get. So it's everything that comes with a price. Even if you don't do anything during the Trecena, you just forget, you're just procrastinating in your world, it can be the now that can bring sickness. So it's a now that you really need to pay attention to. Because sometimes what we are dedicating ourselves, like all the sacrifices we are doing, like all the efforts we are putting on, at the end is not really what we expect. And as I mentioned in the beginning, this Trecena will confirm if all the plan that we made, like all the emotions you're getting after executing that, is what we really looking for, like what we really expect from what we are dedicating our life, our efforts. And if it's not what we are dedicating, you don't feel like it's completely worth it, maybe you're gonna be paying the price in Thor for just spending too much energy and not paying attention or doing the right cuts at the right moments, of not controlling these emotions growing. So now Thor can bring that unexpected surprise you don't want to deal with. Because Thor collects something no matter what. It can be even your blood, it can be your health. So that's why this Trecena is, we need to cut the things, and we need to bring healing to try to keep the emotion under control the best we can, to avoid like a surprise repercussion in Kabla Thor. And then but also taking like into the right side, 12 Thor can talk about like what you're gonna get extra. Like if you're able to dedicate your passion in this Trecena, everything just flowing in the right way, you're able to use all the spiritual strength you're accumulating, like you're in a good path in this Trecena. 12 Thor can be like the extra rewards you can get from that. Like now Thor collects, but it's not like an unfair now. It's always gonna be, equivalent to what you and how you are dealing with stuff. And it's like when you see like all the effort, all your blood, sweat, and tears you're putting to make something work, it's worth it. So you get like the extra compensation in Thor. And then we move to the final day of the Trecena and the ruler Oshlahu Tz'i, 13 dog. Now 13 dog is going to be talking about the accumulation of everything we see. It's the accumulation of emotions. It's the accumulation of the attachments that we create, that we get in this Trecena. Maybe the attachment to our projects, attachment to a person, could be like the attachment of something that you cannot deal with properly, and how you're gonna be using that as an escape. For example, Tz'i can be the now of the gross emotions, and can also you're gonna escape just like in sex. I forgot the word in English. How you're gonna be promiscuous. I think that, yeah. What alcohol or food does cut like? What alcohol or food does cut like? I didn't get your question, Nathan. Can you just elaborate a little bit more? As I conclude the 13 Tz'i. So Tz'i is gonna be like this big accumulation of emotions. If you do not cut, if you're not managed to control, or just to keep your expectations into place, it can be what can corrupt to you. Just like as all the nows that we spoke, like for Kahib Mosh, for water, or the now Washakib Khan, 8 serpents, or the now Belaer Kame, 9 ancestors, and Hulaur Kanil, 11 seeds, can be nows that can talk about poisoning. Is the one that can make you suffer, or can really instigate these emotions. Can be something dangerous. And as I said, sometimes, like the dog can bite the owner for being confused, or for the instincts, or if he's feeling the instincts are being compromised. So it can be when the dog betrays the owner, or when the judge accepts a bribe, in order just to feel their own interests. So Tz'i can become the authority that bites. Just like when you're not able to keep things balanced and you're just act emotionally. So you grow, you scream, so you act like nonsense, only emotionally. You just get angry about some stuff. Just like when the dog goes crazy. So that can be something that's going to be kind of hard to control, and what could accumulate the chaos that Tz'i can bring. Like you're unable to keep things in order, so you're just drawn to the complete darkness. If you weren't able to open the path to overcome your insecurities, that could be something that you could be holding back there, and that can overflow at the end. It's going to be so many emotions you don't even know what you're doing. It could be, so many stuff, so many emotions that your frustration makes you get corrupt. Maybe you can turn your back on the people you love the most, and because you're just feeling frustrated. And that's one of the things that we want to avoid in this Trecena. And also is going to be the accumulation of emotions that all your efforts are leading to. So if you're not able to handle that, just to keep that in the control and editing according as you go, so that can be something that can be dangerous. So that's why this Trecena is going to be the one that's going to be telling you if you're just leading to the right place, if it's really worth it, all the efforts that you are doing. So the Tz'i, it can be this now that can talk about what can be accumulating into chaos, but also can be the accumulation of emotions that really shows the bounds, that's really worth it, like that's something that you're really passionate to dedicate yourself to. It's something that you really see like where everything is gonna go. And Hacha Tata Jose. And so Tz'i is going to be this big emotion that sometimes going to be if you let things just accumulate in the Tz'i, it's going to be too late for you to handle. So this Trecena, you can see that we need to try to manage these emotions, to know how powerful they are and how we can use them. To be careful for not letting them corrupt us because of a frustration that could have happened in the previous Trecena or along in this one. So it's going to be the one that's going to be telling if you are in the right way. It's just like when your heart's going to be telling oh, you're just in the right path. Sometimes we're never going to be sure about that, but Tz'i can really show, can give you a feeling, just like the dog that really senses that something is going to be that. It's going to be using your instincts to follow that. You're never going to have a concrete path, but that is something that you need to investigate a little more. Something that is a little bit unsure, but you got to give a trust at the same time. So that's why you can talk also as accumulation of faith. But the more we try to put that this both Trecena in balance, just having the balance of having a solid plan where we can see where things connect, to become easier for you to intervene if it's necessary, but also taking into considerations all the emotions you are getting from doing the stuff that you are doing, the emotions you are getting behind the efforts you are putting on to this stuff in your life. The more you can get balance between these two Trecenas, the best. The more it's going to be, you're going to be able to walk a better path, to make things happen, to know how to change things. So that's going to be the secret of this Trecena. So recapitulating, as we spoke in this Trecena, we started with Hunkat, one Tijax. It's going to be the new edition. If you had so many plans, it's a time for you to cut off the extra or the accumulation of thoughts. For us to start with the healing, to take care of the emotions. And 2, Kawuk is the day to retract, to listen to your deep intuition, to see where you can sense where the light is. So you can open the path for the glow to overcome your insecurities, to where, to be the brave dog that's gonna be crossing, like the path. So later you can stop to manage the flow of the Trecena, to make sure you are able to handle all these emotions that can work as a fuel to that, for you to be able to overflow the passion, to overflow with enthusiasm, to be able to use that, to direct that to where you really need to apply that energy. So you can ponder like what stays in the dark, what needs to gestate a little bit more, and what is ready to show to the light. Not being too emotional about stuff. It's about knowing how you're gonna use your communication to express what you are feeling, for example. To be sure, like if you are really, being able to show the light that you want, if your emotions are corresponding to what you want to bring into the light. And then in Ukubkat, it's gonna be the one that's gonna be showing like the real reason of your final efforts, if your efforts are being worth it, if they are connecting to the emotions you wanted to feel when you chose this path. It's gonna be showing for what you're really sacrificing yourself for. So you can return with more wisdom after walking this path of knowing the balance between this logical and emotional. So you can see, beyond the illusion. You can cut off these illusions, cut off, like the stuff that can corrupt you, that can act as a poison. So you can get like the inner support in Belaer Kame. So you can find, like the support from within yourself. Like you got what you need from the inside to give faith, to give you strength. Like the same one you use to open the path to overcome your insecurities in the beginning of the Trecena. So you can converge in Laurker the necessary strength for you to carry on, to be able to handle these emotions. Or maybe it could be the day where you can just give strength for your friends, or ask strength for them by talking to them, by doing something with them. So you can spread the potential of something to multiplicate in Hulaurkanil, or dilute what has been intoxicating you, maybe those extra emotions that you weren't able to control. So you can have like an extra reward in Kabla Urtor. You can get like an extra payment. Like you're gonna be seeing like the real rewards after your efforts. So you can, at the end, accumulate the emotions. You can find the accumulation of faith, or the accumulation of hope that something is gonna be, you are just walking the right path, you are just in the right direction, and that everything that we are doing is being worth it after all. And that's how we finish the analysis of this Oshlahu Tz'i Trecena, and get ready for the next Trecena. That's going to be the Akabal, the 13 Clarity Trecena. That's where we're going to be combining both stuff to see what you can just take to get out of the darkness. And if you have any questions, I'm here for a few more minutes to clarify stuff about this Trecena. I think this can be like a tricky Trecena, maybe more than the previous one, especially because these emotional aspects that Tz'i can bring. And also, if you would like to compare, because the first analysis that I did here in the channel was exactly this one. It's way shorter. I think it has 15 minutes because I was editing everything. And if you have questions, any things you'd like to ask for, maybe insights for this Trecena, I'm here. Or if it's not related to this Trecena and you would like to ask anything unrelated, I'm gonna be here for a few more minutes. I couldn't understand what you said there, Nathan. Like what alcohol or food does cut like for? Maybe I got that. Like, what kind of alcohol could you be offering for the altar? It could be more spirit drinks, like not beer, like no wine. It could be more something like vodka. Could be whiskey, more spirits that you can use for ceremonies. But it depends of the novel. Like you can offer some of that for Thor, for example, a cabal. Um, Usually strong nows like that. I wouldn't risk too much for a yick, especially because it's hobby yick, this Trecena. It all depends. It all depends on like how you're gonna be using that to enhance that in the altar. And Matheus for keeping the good energy. Oh, thank you, my friend. Marc Carpir. 5 Yik, 13 Tz'i, pretty strong Trecena. Yeah. It's a pretty strong Trecena, kind of hard to control. So remember, just try to keep everything to balance. Remember that Kahib Imosh, you know, that sometimes you can get paranoid, especially because Imosh deals with that collective consciousness. Sometimes we spend too much watching ads online. We are watching like so many other stuff just to unwind for our daily routines. Sometimes something that we see there, maybe an idea of something that we listen to someone, and whenever something happens, you know, that kind of clicks or pops into your head, and that makes, you know, the side of emotion that can grow out of control, and that what can inflammate or into your emotions and make yik explodes. Remember at the beginning of the Trecena, everything is a condition. It all depends, like you're always gonna get the repercussion from the novel, you know, according to how the last one left. So there is anything that's gonna be fixed, there is nothing like, oh, that's need to watch out because, oh, this Trecena is bad. There is no bad or good. It's all about the condition and what you make from these novels, what you make from the experience you are having, what you make from your life. The more conscious you are about your decisions, the better it's going to be the results you're going to be getting from following the Maya calendar. So the responsibility is always going to be on you. Of course, you can have like extra depending on the practices that you already do. You can ask, like you can always intervene, like with ceremonies. And if you need any help, like with something that I can help, like with reading or spiritual work, you can always reach me on Instagram or my website. I'll be more than happy to help you in this path. And if you have more questions about something related or unrelated, oh, you're welcome, Alana. And if not, we can already close our live. It's already almost 1 hour and a half. And how long does it take to learn? To learn the system. You mean to learn the Maya calendar? If it's that, yeah, it depends. You know, it depends from where you are learning. Like the best thing that I suggest you to learn is to learn from someone that is already walking this path, or directly from an ahir, from a generation that really speaks a language. Remember that, you know, like the language aspect, you know, to understanding the calendar is really important, because it's really hard to westernize stuff and taking things out of the context. So even though it can make sense, but if you isolate, it can make sense. But sometimes if you want to really follow the calendar, you need to be really aware, or you need to really enter into the way of the Mayan thinking, which is way different than most of the Western languages. And that's why, you know, you can see like so many people that try to attempt and just gave like garbage work. I took a look at what books. These books, I kind of realized they don't sound indigenous at all. Just Western astrology approach using Maya names. I don't know what these books you were referring to, but yeah, this stuff that has this astrological approach where we won't have like indigenous like the vibe at all. That's why I'm telling you that like the best way to go and learn is just spend some time in the communities, just to understand how they live. Because most of people, they don't care if it's Maya. They just don't. They just care about just learning to something. Could be more like fodder effect. There's something that fits in a box. But in the Maya calendar, there is nothing fixed. Like never, like whenever you're talking about doing readings, there is not something automatic. Oh, just read. Oh, this is a description for now Akabal. This is a description for now that you can just reply to everyone. It doesn't work like that. You need to understand like what kind of things lead to another. What is the real reason of the repercussions? That's why you need to analyze pregnancy conditions during that. Not every Akabal is going to be having like the same thing of every Akabal. Even those Akabal that were born in the same day at the same time, you always going to be finding something different with them, and you need to be able to express that, to be able to really provide a proper help. That's why you're never going to be learning some stuff. Everything that's going to be as Mayan astrology is only fodder effect. If you don't know what that is, just Google that. Like it's just like when you create like something that can serve to everybody. For example, it's really easy for you to, there are so many novels that can talk about similar aspects. For example, Akabal, Naor, Bats, Kawuk, they can always enter and talk about something that can sound the same thing. So fodder effect is going to be something that can, fit. It's going to give you a chance of like just hitting 33% of the chances. But everybody knows what they are. Like it's not about just a matter of just confirming for you just to feel good or just to make you feel powerful. It's about for you to understand what really happening. It's just giving a proper way to think and how you're just going to provide a proper solution. Not just, just metaphorically speaking about that. The Maya calendar, you need to be solid. You need to present facts and proper solutions to help people. That's how the spiritual guides work. Indigenous people, not going to be working based on superstition stuff, which is usually how we take things like the spiritual things here in the Western. So it's something like that you really want to get involved, you really need to enter and dive deeper into the studies to understand how they live. But yeah, it's a pity. It's always just in these books, it's just only a material to sell for make people just take advantage of the emotional imbalance of other people. And if you have more questions, if not, we can close here. We're gonna be having like 1.5 hours here. Right on, Ricardo, Toltec. See you next time. Thank you for joining me. And thank you all for joining me in this analysis. I'm wishing you already a great Trecena ahead. And wishing you all a great one. Bye-bye.